Hello, everyone. This is Erica. I've made a video in a very, very long time, and I just wanted to come on here and give you a little health update about myself and to talk a little bit about my childhood. Um, some of you may remember that I had a total reverse shoulder replacement in March of 2019. But now this shoulder, my left shoulder, is feeling really pretty bad. I was in the shower one day washing my hair like a month ago, and I just cried out to God. I'm like, oh my God, God help me. And I just begged for mercy because the pain I felt in my right shoulder was like the pain I felt in my left shoulder before I had to have surgery. So I was very concerned, I was very despondent, but look at Jesus. He told me get an MRI of that shoulder. And I hadn't even thought about it. So I called my surgeon, and then I asked him if he can write me an order for an MRI. He wrote it that very day that I emailed him. I contacted Advanced Radiology. This was all on a Friday. And Advanced Radiology took me in that Monday. And the next day, I had a video visit with my rheumatologist, and she told me that she got the results because I asked him to send her a copy of the results, and she said that I had a rotator cuff tear. I'm like, oh Lord, not again, not again. So I called my doctor immediately and made an appointment with him to talk about my treatment options. So he said because that I have a reverse left shoulder replacement in this shoulder, and based upon the fact that I have connective tissue disease, that he I should have a I should have this repaired as soon as possible. Good thing is that he said it's repairable. So I will be having surgery this Monday. So I just thank God though. I thank God that they caught it in time because I told my surgeon and I told God, Lord, I do not want to have another reverse shoulder replacement because you're limited in what you can do. I'm left-handed, so I'm very limited. And I think one of the reasons why I have a full thickness rotator cuff tear in my right shoulder is because of overusing it to compensate for the fact that I can't fully use my left shoulder. But anyway, so yeah, I'm having surgery on Monday, but it is well with my soul. I know God is with me. I know He will go before me. And I actually rejoice in my affliction because it brings me closer to God, Jesus Christ. I rejoice in it. He's been with me. I've been basking in His love. I've been basking in His presence. I just adore Him. So I'm fine with it. I really am. And I know that everything will be okay. Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little with everything that's going on with George Floyd and everything. I wanted to give my perspective a little bit about what it was like growing up in the 1960s. I'm 58 years old. I'll be 59 in May. My earliest memory that I can recall was the assassination of Martin Luther King. I remember thinking that he must be the president because it was all over the news. And I mean, he was such an important man. I just assumed he was the president. Of course, now I realize that he is a civil rights leader. And I also vividly remember them putting water hoses on children and people and the police putting dogs on them. That's a vivid memory. I saw it on the news. And as a young Black child, my thought was, it's very disturbing, obviously, but my thought was, we're not considered valuable. We are considered less than human. We are considered even less than dogs because they sick had dogs bite us. So imagine growing up with that. And at the time, I was like 4 years old. So that's the impression I had of myself based upon what I was seeing on the news. And it was very sad. And I remember also that my mother was friends with this Filipino woman, and they used to live in our neighborhood, but then they moved into the county. And my mom took us to see them. She wanted us to play with our daughters. She had a daughter my age, and I will never forget that there was this white child, little girl that lived next door to them, and she saw me when I came up, and the look of hatred on her face because of the color of my skin. I felt so, I felt really horrible. I felt not less than, but that clearly she thought I was less than. And that made me feel really sad. And to be honest, I just wanted to go home after that. After that little girl looked at me that way, I just wanted to go home. You know, I didn't want to play. I didn't have a good time because I couldn't get that picture out of my head. My second incident with racism, at the time I was probably 5 years old. My mom used to take us over my granddad's house every Saturday, and she didn't have cars, so we called a cab. And you know, I called myself helping this white cab driver out. So when I got out of the cab, I locked the door, or was attempting to lock the door. And he looked at me and he called me a black bee. You know what I mean by black bee? And I was very hurt. I was shocked. My mother heard it, but she didn't say anything. She never really addressed these type of things with me. So I just had to feel my way through. And then when I got older, I could understand it better, you know? But yeah, that was a profound experience that I had to go through. The next incidents of racism that I had, which is still going on today, I went to parochial school, Catholic school, and there was this drugstore down the street. And I used to love corn curls as a little girl. So I went to the drugstore after school, and I don't know, I probably was in the first or second grade, and I bought some corn curls. It was really busy. There were a lot of people in there trying to get food, groceries, whatever. So at that time, corn curls, a little bag of corn curls, they cost just a nickel in those days. So I put the nickel on the counter, and this white man, he just kept yelling at me. And again, remember, I'm 6 or 7. He says, "Come back here, you black bee. Come back here, you black bee. You stole that. You didn't pay for it. Come back here. Come back here." I was terrified. I was terrified. I ran out of that store as fast as I could, and I ran down the alley. There was an alley around the corner from the store, and I never went in that store again. I couldn't understand why he said it. In fact, I was so shocked, I didn't even tell him that, well, I did pay for it. I left the nickel on the counter. I was very shy. I was very quiet. I rarely spoke as a child. So it's kind of funny that I do YouTube videos now. I guess I came out of my shell, but yeah, that was terrifying. And he just wouldn't stop. But he didn't chase me down the alley, but he just kept calling me a black bee, you know. And I can go on with more stories, like when I was in high school. This is my youngest memories from when I was a little girl. And yeah, so it's really horrible. It was really horrible. So then I look at what's going on in the George Floyd trial and what he went through. Whenever I see image of what he went through, and the defendant putting his knee on his neck, and he's crying and he's saying, "They're killing me and I can't breathe, calling for his mother," it just touched something deep in me. And I'm like, will this ever end? Will this ever end? I mean, it's been going on since slavery, you know. It's been going on since slavery. Even though slavery has ended, there's still a lot of hatred towards people of color. And a lot of people don't understand Black Lives Matter. They think it's a racist organization, you know, but all we're saying is that our lives matter too. We all know that white people's lives matter. We all know that. We all know about white privilege. So, you know, white people get angry and they say all lives matter. We know all lives matter. But the reason why Black people say Black Lives Matter is because historically we have been tortured. We've been lynched. We've been called nigger, black bee. I mean, you know what our history is. And so it's not to say that all lives do not matter. That's a given. What it is to say is that Black Lives Matter too. Maybe they should have said Black Lives Matter too. And then people wouldn't think of it as a racist organization. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I did look at the movie called Judas and the Black Messiah. It was really good. I was a little disappointed at the music that they play in the trailer is not in the movie, but the guy who played gosh, why am I drawing? Fred Hampton did a really excellent job. I kind of wish that the guy, I don't know if you've ever seen Chicago PD. There's this black guy that plays on there. Royce is his name. His real name, I can't remember. But anyway, he's from South Chicago. I know Fred Hampton is from West Chicago, but their accents are very similar. He even resembles him a little bit. And I would love one day for them to make a movie purely about Fred Hampton and not so much emphasis on the guy who got him killed, but like what got him up to become a member of the Black Panther Party. You know, I know he was in the NAACP at first. I'd like to know a little bit about, you know, what got him to where he was and to watch his journey. And as far as the guy who got him assassinated, that to be in the background. But I would love to see the guy who plays on Chicago PD. I don't know his name. I think it's Leroyce or something like that, but you can look him up. There's only one black guy on Chicago PD, and I think he would have been an excellent person. Not to say the guy didn't do a good job. It was an excellent movie. They did a great job, very emotional, you know, and the way they killed him, it was a northern lynching. It was a northern lynching, but I've talked long enough, and I can talk more about racial issues or sensitive topics. You know, I'm very proud of my Black heritage, and I have a lot of things that I can share. So anyway, take care. I love you all. Be strong. Be safe. Wear a mask. There's nothing wrong with wearing a mask. Thank God I don't have COVID, haven't had COVID. Nobody in my family has had it. I faithfully wear a mask because of my health problems. I don't go out much except to go to the doctors. But yeah, anyway, just, you know, stay safe. I love you. And this too shall pass. Glory to God. God is our vindicator. Amen. Bye.